We get started. Thanks, Jeremy.
You bet.
All right, at 5:32 on August 8th, 2023, I will call to order the meeting of the License and Ordinance Committee. Do we have any comments from citizens present? You are welcome to comment when you're, oh, there's Jen.
Hey, Jen.
You are welcome to wait and comment when your agenda item is up for discussion. Moving on, as there's no comments, I will open up for approval of the minutes from the July 11th, 2023 meeting. Are there any changes to be made to the minutes? Hearing none, minutes are approved for the June 13th, 2023 L&O meeting. Now we will move on to licenses and permits. The first item on the agenda is the applications for a special event permit by Gilda's Club Madison, Christine Rader, contact person, for the Gilda's Run Walk on October 1st, 2023 at Gilda's Club. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and take the first two agenda items. My apologies. We'll also be considering the application for an outdoor amplified sound permit for Gilda's Club Madison for the sound system, speeches, and announcements from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. October 1st, 2023 for the Gilda's Run Walk.
Actually, it's not till 9 p.m. I don't know where that came from, if that was a typo. It's only until 1 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? That is probably me and the agenda. But yes, your application actually does say 1 p.m. But yes, this is similar to previous years, nothing new, annual event that Gilda's Club holds.
And this is different from your barbecue, correct?
Yes, the barbecue is in June, and that's in our backyard. The difference this year, which I don't know if it doesn't actually affect the street closures or any of the route, is that we in the past have had it at Middleton, which is across the street from us, in their parking lot, but now we are having it actually in our parking lot and backyard instead. So.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions or discussions regarding the permit? All right. Hearing none. Does anyone make a motion for approval of the application for a special event permit and the outdoor amplified sound permit for Gilda's Club on October 1st?
I make a motion.
Go ahead. And I will second that motion. This is Cole.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right. Thanks. Have a great event.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks for being here. Moving on to the application for a special event permit by Downtown Middleton Business Association. Andrea Van Nest, contact person for the 2023 Downtown Middleton Sip and Stroll on September 21st, 2023 in downtown Middleton.
And do you want to do this one separately from the Tempe?
Oh.
I mean,
yeah, let's do
yeah,
it.
you probably do.
A special event. It's an alcohol permit, so we'll do that separately.
That is totally fine. So yeah, again, an annual event. Similar to previous years, they're just ironing out all of the details of the locations. And I guess this kind of applies more to the Tempe, but they're hoping for kind of a contingent approval and planning to come back to the September meeting when the list of licenses, like all of their bartenders and licenses, have been confirmed.
Okay.
Does our September meeting fall in enough time in advance of the event? Because this is in September too, right?
It does. It's going to be close.
Okay.
This event is the 21st. So I think it'll be like a week and a half, 2 weeks prior.
Looks like
And
the
so
12th would be the second Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay.
What would we needing to be reviewing and approving at that time. So what is the contingency then? Sorry.
So right now, the organizer, Andrea Van Ness, doesn't have a complete list of who is all going to be the bartender, which each location, which bartender they're going to have, and then their bartender license number. And I'm pretty sure that's a requirement of approving the Tempe. I'm not positive on that, but I know that's, I think, what we've done in the past.
Although I think you could delegate the review of that, condition upon that submittal, prior to the L&O meeting and either allow the PD to approve it, unless they have concerns and bring it back to L&O. And if not, we'll allow the PD to approve the list of licensees.
And these
Okay,
would be,
well-
Or you could just bring it back to L&O too. I mean, the timing's going to be there. But
I just wouldn't want them to be waiting, too much as they work out their folks. So these are all folks who already have bartending licenses, or they're getting.
we don't know. We don't know who. I don't know if we know who they're going to be.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Can
They
we-
could be.
Oh,
I
sorry.
mean, they need to have their license, obviously, but they could be first timers. We don't know that for sure.
Okay.
All right, let's approve the special event permit and then we can talk a little bit more about the Class B license. So we'll take those because it sounds like we might want to talk about what we want to do with that, the retailer's license. So let's do the application for a special event permit. Do I
I will make the motion to approve the special event permit for the Sip and Stroll on September 21st in downtown Middleton.
Perfect.
This is Jackson. I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, none opposed. Moving on to talk about the application for a temporary Class B retailer's license to sell wine by Downtown Middleton Business Association, Andrea Van Ness, president, for September. And I think this is a typo on the agenda. It is on the 21st. I double checked their application for the 2023 Sip and Stroll using approved plan DMBA 2. So as we can continue to talk about it, it sounds like maybe we would have time to consider this at the next L&O meeting, but if we want to approve it now, this is something that the PD could approve without having to bring it back to the L&O.
Yeah, if you want. I mean, I'm guessing they wanted to push this forward just to know in advance whether there's any other concerns with it. So, I think it would be useful for them to receive a conditional approval. Then it's just a matter of whether you want to see the list of licensees or whether you want to allow the PD or even Lori. I'm not sure who best to look at that, but yeah, if you didn't want it to come back, I would recommend that you would direct that list be provided to the PD sometime in advance of the L&O meeting, just so that if something happens, you can know to put it on the agenda. So, I mean, as I talk through, that might be just as good enough reason why you just bring this back on the L&O agenda. I don't know of any reason that we're going to have a ton of things to deal with. So
Question, could we approve the current list of location and those that are already identified as tenders? And then approve the next round as they are identified?
yeah, I didn't even see that do we have some of the bartenders?
Yeah, it looks like a good chunk have been identified for the locations.
Page 36 of the agenda,
Yeah.
Okay.
or the packet, I should say.
It's like a little over 50%.
Yeah, and most of those are the repeat bartenders from last year that just their license is still applicable. So
Yeah, I think you could approve of this, move to approve as applied and for the locations with identified bartenders, and the rest contingent upon returning the L&O with the remaining bartenders identified.
A question about, sorry, maybe this is in the weeds too much. Capital Brewery, like it says grandfathered in, that is assuming they just are using their overall operator's license.
I think the
I-
same as
I mean-
Baybridge Suites, because I think they have an operating license too.
So
Yeah.
breweries are, go ahead, Matt, you're better at it.
Well, right, yeah, I imagine that I don't think grandfathered is probably the
Right.
technically correct term. They're licensed premises because they're a brewer, so they've got. Yeah, I think that's what that means.
So then
but
that would
it-
apply to like grape water, right?
Yeah,
No,
No, but they're able to serve just under their existing license. So
You're talking specifically about capital though, Matt, right? Not grape.
specifically about capital, right?
Why would grape water be different?
Oh. No, grape water isn't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to respond to about grape water.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's just, I mean, it's interesting. It's just curious to
Yeah.
me that, Barriques also has their license to serve. But they've identified an individual and that server's license.
Well, then
I
compadre,
just think, like, why maybe there's not
Right,
equal.
I didn't, it didn't, wine bar. I would imagine that some of these probably did not necessarily need to identify a bartender. Because they're, I think we're really only concerned about those places that are gonna be subject to this temporary
Right.
Class B, and technically, I don't know that, well, I mean, I don't know that this license technically covers the already licensed premises to begin with.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, a server's license or a bartender's license is needed still for every one of these, but Capital Brewery, correct? Or the agent, whomever it would be.
Well, for instance, Fajitas Tapas and Bar, do they have a Class B license? Grape
I believe
water.
they recently got one, I believe.
I mean, they all need, so as long as they have the proper personnel on site, either the agent or licensed bartenders,
And perhaps I'm overcomplicating this. I guess my point is the breweries by law are treated very differently, right? They don't have to have operator licenses.
I don't know that is necessarily. I mean, I think they have to have either the licensee where they're serving. I think the servers, I believe, do have to have operator's
Okay.
license. I suppose it's entirely possible. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think that's where they're.
Yeah,
where
I know
they
it's
are exempt,
okay.
but like I said, I'm not terribly concerned about. I assume there's licensed premises on this list because they are part of the event walk, but for purposes of the temporary Class B, I'm not concerned about the existing licensed business letting us know that they've got a licensed bartender because they've got a regular license. They operate, and I assume, well, it's these other places that aren't normally licensed premises. We want to be sure that they have identified a licensed bartender for each of these places that need the temporary Class B in which to operate or serve wine.
is there any other further questions about the list or any other questions about the application? No?
No, I mean, I guess, my motion would be to approve that Class B for the list approved, and then or the list that appears of the identified individuals and the license number. But I think we would want to see those that are not filled in yet at the next meeting. That was not very articulate. I guess I move to approve the Class B license for the identified locations and appropriately licensed staff or volunteer, and full approval for the remaining locations and licensed tenders would be contingent on reviewing that list at the next meeting.
I think it works.
And just so that it is reflected in the next meeting that is anticipated for September 11th or September 12th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our next meeting is already the fall, almost.
The kids will be back in school. All right, well, I will second that motion then. And yes, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, none opposed. We look forward to seeing the completed list on the 12th. All right, moving on to number 5. I'm looking to see if this can be combined, and I don't believe it can. So application for an outdoor amplified sound system by Melissa Brum for a sound system at Stonehorse Green for August 16th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's coming up.
And I think this was just one that's, they just added a concert kind of somewhat last minute, the Melvis one, and it doesn't fall within their annual Thursday or Saturday amplified sound.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're adding it.
And can I ask what kind of band will be playing?
This is a Elvis tribute act, so
Nice.
it's just a karaoke machine and a singer.
Awesome. That sounds
So it won't be too loud. Yeah, I don't know if you can combine this one with number 8, but that might be.
I was wondering, I thought I saw your name somewhere else, but then I didn't. It's on the back of mine.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
have we have 3 shows next week at Stonehorse Green, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So
But you already have the Thursday one covered.
we do, yeah.
Okay. So we will also go ahead and add agenda item 5 to this discussion, which is the application for a special event permit by Stonehorse Green. Melissa Brum, contact person for the Summer Fun concert on August 19th. What are the hours on that one? Since I have to jump ahead. Is it the same 6 to 8?
August 19th. Yeah, the show is 6 to 8. The road will be closed starting at 3 p.m. that day.
Actually, I'm going to I realize why I'm not the right way, because one was for outdoor amplified sound and the other one is for the road closure. So, all right, let's just go ahead and approve the sound one for the 18th or the 16th.
I will move to approve the amplified sound permit.
This is Jackson. I second that motion.
All right, all in favor of approving the application for the outdoor amplified sound for Stonehorse Green on August 16th from 6 to 8 p.m.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we will skip ahead to 8 so Melissa can hop off if she needs to. So we will consider the application for a special event permit for Stonehorse Green for the Summer Fun concert on August 19th, 2023 at Stonehorse Green. So this is a Saturday. And is this another additional concert? I'm scrolling ahead.
Yeah, and that's like an 8-piece band or maybe bigger. It's a salsa band. So yeah, and then so we'll be closing the street down that day, or the streets around that day too, and for the production to move in because it is a large production.
And the roads are, I'm sorry, I'm having to jump ahead because I can't remember. And the closure are from 3 to 9?
Yep.
Is that right? Okay. I love it when the streets get closed off. It makes it feel much more like a fun event. So
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully people will be dancing in the street. We're hoping a big turnout will come out for that one. We'll see.
Any concerns from the police department on the street closure?
No, it hasn't been problematic in the past, and I know they put some bollards up over with the construction on Parmenter there, so that should help as well.
Cool. Will this be the first time they've been used then, or?
They were actually up recently. I don't know if that was just part of the construction project or if it was part of an event. One of our
We put them up
supervisors.
for an event for Pat McCurdy. We closed the
Oh.
streets down and we used that for the first time. That was 2 Thursdays ago, like 10
Yeah,
days ago.
that sounds about right.
Yeah. So they worked well.
Good.
Really nice.
That's great. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions regarding the special event permit for the Stone Horse Green on August 19th, 2023?
I'm just glad to get it to see the location being used so much already this summer. I really appreciate that. So thank you. I will move to approve this request.
This is Jackson. I'll second that motion.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. The application is approved.
Okay.
Have fun. Good luck with your
Thank
event.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
All right. Moving on to the application for an outdoor amplified sound permit by Holly Schweiten for Craftsman Table and Tap for a sound system and band, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on August 11th, 2023. Is she on?
Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it. Any concerns or questions or for any news on the application, Laura? Pretty
This one
straightforward.
wasn't tied to a special event permit, so I think this one might have gone straight to the PD. But
Oh.
I think we actually put this on our event calendar. It's just going to be a small little kind of gathering right in that kind of area of Middleton Hills.
Sorry, I don't have any additional information on that.
But no flags.
No, I mean, we haven't had significant issues there.
Okay.
Ever, really.
Is it on the sidewalk level or is it up on the rooftop? Or do we don't know?
Jumping to the thing.
Pretty sure it's just right outside of like where Miggy's Bakes and like the patio of like Prairie Cafe combines. I think they just wanted to have some live music there, and I'm pretty sure Craftsman, Miggy's, and Prairie Cafe are kind of all
Oh, okay.
getting together to organize that.
Awesome.
All right, good deal. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I will move approval of the application for the outdoor amplified sound permit by Holly Schweitzer for the Craftsman Table and Tap for a sound system and band, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on August 11th, 2023.
This is Cole. I will second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Moving on to the application for an outdoor amplified sound permit by Brian Davis of 2221 Branch Street for a backyard band from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. on 8/12/23. That is this Saturday.
So clarifying question on that though, the permit application says 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
That is what I'm seeing. I don't know if that's supposed to be PM. I can try and verify that. I'd
And
also
August 5th already happened.
yeah. Well, we didn't have any calls, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Where?
It's an individual's residence, right? Correct?
Yes, this is, I did get a basic, it's a low-key jazz type band and they've done it for years. I know that, I do recall seeing this one in the past, so there's no PD objection. It's not gonna apparently be all that loud or anything. And I can verify on the time frame there that obviously does seem early. That would generate probably some noise complaints, but
Yeah.
I assume it's PM.
That would be quite the way to wake up on a Saturday.
Yeah, right.
Jazz band in your backyard. Yeah, I guess maybe just like for future permitting for this event, if it is an annual thing, making sure they get the request in well before the
Sure.
meeting
Yep.
and that things are correctly identified. So
Well, it sounds like the motion may want to specifically approve it for the PM
okay.
timeframe. You know, unless unless you're fine with it going at 7 o'clock, you know.
And oddly enough, the 7 a.m. start time would be outside of the ordinance, would require council approval anyway,
Oh,
which
okay, yeah, well,
Right, right. That would be allowable under, yeah, it's the
that's right, yeah,
late.
so yeah, I would have any motion to approve, clarify that the approval is for the 7 to 10 PM time slot, not AM.
So since PD has no flags on this other than getting the accuracy, I will move to approve Brian Davis's request for backyard amplified sound on August 12th. I'm not going to retroactive approval from 7 PM to 10 PM.
This is Jackson. I'll second that motion.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
With none opposed, that passes. And is that something that you follow up with the applicant then in that type of situation, or you just trust that they're reading the minutes?
Well, the permit would be issued for the PM. So
PM.
I guess if there's an issue, I mean, I'm assuming, Laura, that if you can verify that Travis is the one who probably must have put this on the agenda. So
Yes, yeah,
obviously-
and I can even do that with him tomorrow. I can confirm that.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 9, application for a special event permit by Arthritis Foundation of Wisconsin, Sarah Peterson, contact person for the Oktoberfest Ride for Arthritis on August 16th, 2023 at Capitol Brewery.
So this is the second annual, however, this is the first time it's being held at Capitol Brewery. It has been reviewed by our team. There are no street closures. It's kind of just ride on your own, very similar to the Roll and Stroll event that's happening this Saturday at Capitol. But yeah, that's pretty much
And
all I know.
just a point, because as I read it out, I was like, that doesn't sound right. Their application is actually for September 16th, not
Okay.
August.
Yeah, there's a lot of typos on here, isn't there?
It's that.
Yeah, September
It's not-
16th.
we'll
It is
blame
not,
August.
yeah, it is not August 16th.
Yes. It is.
And it looks like they have several routes, correct, for the biking?
Yes, and I mean, I will note that I know that they've secured the permit with the county for the routes that do go onto the county highways.
In our neighboring communities? No.
Yes.
Okay, great. Looks like they are trying to use some of the bike trails, but some are on local highways then,
Yes, definitely a mixture.
similarly to other area biking events, specifically like Horribly Hilly 100 and things like that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions regarding the application for the special event permit for Arthritis Foundation? All right, hearing none, I will move that we approve the application for a special event permit for Arthritis Foundation of Wisconsin for their Oktoberfest Ride for Arthritis on September 16th, 2023 at Capitol Brewery.
This is Cole, I will second.
Excellent, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes, or application is approved. All right, moving on to ordinances. Number 1 is the proposal to change ordinances 2.34 paren 1 paren D to permit the high school member of the Workforce Housing Committee to become a voting member. This comes to us from the Workforce Housing Committee. They met on July 17th, 2023. I know this is something that they wanted to give the committee, Lisa Haniro was asking for this to give the committee full voting.
And we have other, I don't know how many other committees we have with high school members on them. But the other, in those other instances, they are allowed to vote. I mean, the only minor concern here now is that we have an even number of voting members, but you know, I think I've expressed my opinion before that those concerns and even concerns about a high school member voting are not super strong for a lot of our committees. You know, if it's plan commission or something like that, where you've got some statutory things, some hearings and maybe more high pressure kind of issues. Whereas, you know, committees like this that, you know, are certainly doing important work, but are really almost strictly recommending bodies, I think are less concerning about having even numbers and high school people voting. So at any rate, it's a simple fix, just requires the deletion of the words non-voting or word non-voting in
Well,
ordinance. So
I will say that I would support that it aligns with other committees that have high school members so that it is applied equally for their role and their commitment to this work. So I appreciate that. I guess my only question then with that you bring up about then having, you know, an even number, would the chair potentially serve as the tiebreaker, or the chair is the even number?
right, yeah, I mean, yeah, the other committees, don't operate like the council does. The
Right.
chair always votes, and so they're part of the odd numbers. But like I said, you know, I think if it's not like the council won't have any, if you get an even vote on some kind of workforce housing, you know, I mean, typically, if it's issue specific, well, you're gonna kind of know, okay, it's a close vote. You get your recommendation sort of one way or the other, and then otherwise, I really suspect that a lot of the work really isn't done until you have virtual consensus anyway. So I just don't see the even number being a real problem for this committee.
All right, sorry, excuse me for 1 minute. I was afraid my microphone was picking up his panting. Is there any other questions or comments about the proposal to change ordinance 2.34 parent 1 parent D? I think it's a great idea. I think if they're going to serve and give input, then they should have a vote. All right, I will move then to approve the proposal to change ordinance 2.34 parent 1 parent D to permit the high school member of the Workforce Housing Committee to become a voting member.
I second, this is Jackson. I second that motion.
Great, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna assume that you're in support, Jeffrey. Can I get an aye?
Aye.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, no, with no dissent, the proposal passes and we'll head to council. All right, second on the ordinance list is proposal to change ordinance 8.11 parent 1 parent A to define areas within which duplicate street names shall not be prohibited. This comes to us from Planning Commission.
Yeah, there's a memo that comes along here, and I don't know if anyone else is on Plan Commission, but I think this sort of makes sense to sort of more clearly define boundaries of the areas where we don't want the duplications and so yeah, I think it's, unless there's questions, I think it's fairly self-explanatory.
So I guess my question is, with the recent duplication proposed, by changing this, those would not be allowed, or they would have to,
I'm not
Go.
entirely, I'm not entirely sure that changing this really directly affects this or not. You know, it seems clear that this conflict raised some questions, and maybe they felt there was a little bit of ambiguity or not, but it's not clear to me that changing the ordinance or not changing the ordinance necessarily affects the outcome of the, you know, particular conflict that raised the questions. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question, but
Abby might, she has her hand up.
oh, that's right. Yeah, I did see Abby up there.
Hello, everyone. So the reason that we are proposing the changes is because we have two subdivisions currently in the works. Actually, both will be on the council agenda for next week. And in the plats for both of those neighborhoods, they were proposing street names that are duplicated somewhere else in the Madison metropolitan area. And we don't have subdivisions very often in Middleton. I think we've maybe had like 6 in the last 16 years or so. But I believe that in most cases we have been asking for an exception to the ordinance because we're seeing proposals for street names that are duplicated in some way, even if it's you know, just a portion of the same name, or Muse was flagged as a duplication in the Bell Farm plat, and Muse is actually a suffix. The street name is Mary Muse, but there was a duplication in Wanakee because there was a suffix Muse being used somewhere else in Wanakee. And it's not that it's impossible to come up with a street name that is not already replicated somewhere in the Madison area. But I think that what we would really like to take a look at is whether we need to be so strict with our ordinance interpretation, given that none of our peer communities are adhering to the same standards. There's a Main Street in almost every single community. And so we wanted to allow the developers a little bit more flexibility in street names as long as it did not present any public safety issue. And so after running it by the Public Safety Committee, as well as the EMS and the fire chief, we realized that maybe our standard is more strict just because it's been on the books for so long and no one has reviewed it in such a long time. And so because there was no public safety issue that was flagged, that's why we're recommending the change. It's just basically providing more options for street names for new developments.
I think that makes great sense. I mean, there's no reason why we can't have a duplicative name in Middleton that occurs in Sun Prairie, because that's not in the same EMS district. And so, you know, and as Sun Prairie and other communities that do not abut our EMS are growing, you know, naming becomes harder and harder and harder, I'm sure. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think I have no issue.
Yeah,
I appreciate the attention to the emergency response district and those needs. So that's yeah, great.
Yeah, I think that's great. And it's great that there is so much collaboration with everybody and they're able to get this done. So yay. Does anyone want to move approval then, or shall I?
This
This is Jackson. I move approval.
Great.
And I will second that.
Excellent. Then let's take a vote on the proposal to change ordinances singular ordinance 8.11 paren 1 paren A to redefine areas within which duplicate street names shall not be prohibited. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. None opposed. And it passes, and that shall go to council. And with nothing else on the agenda, I think we can stand adjourned. Abby has left. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest
Thank
of your
you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank
Jeremy.
you.
Appreciate it.